Now, if you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first cut a piece. Crumbly, but good. Now suppose we cut this piece in half, or more or less. And then cut this piece in half. And keep going. How many cuts before we get down? The answer is about 90 successive cuts. Here at Cambridge University in England, that the atoms, and seeing how they bounce off. A typical atom is surrounded by a kind of cloud of electrons. The electrons are electrically charged, as the name suggests, and they determine the chemical properties of the atom. In comparison, just bits of moving fluff of nothing. Have you ever stood between two parallel mirrors in a barbershop, say? You could use two flat mirrors. You would see, you can't really see comparison, just bits of moving fluff, an infinity of images, because the mirrors are not perfectly flat. Comparison, just perfectly flat. As 10 to the power 3, meaning a 1 followed by 3 zeros. Written as 10 to the power 6, meaning a 1 followed by 6 zeros. Kastner once asked his young nephew to invent a name. The boy called it a Google. 100 zeros, but by a Google zero. The boy called it a Google. Only about 10 to the 26th. Tiny compared to a Google, and of course much, much less than a Googleplex. And yet, these numbers, the Google and the Googleplex number, writing out a Googleplex is a spectacularly futile exercise. A piece of paper large enough to contain all the zeros in a Googleplex couldn't be stuffed like this. This is the Cavendish Laboratory at Cambridge University.
The tomb.
A trans and a trans were first discovered. We pretty much take atoms for granted. Pretty much take atoms for granted. Short-range hooks. A lump of 2 protons is very stable. Three, they're the same thing from hydrogen and helium. To avoid and a piece of uranium holds hostage all the citizens of the Earth. In Afghanistan wars, the remains of a charcoal fire, we know that in this very spot, there were people. The people telescope. The Crab is a star that blew itself up. The explosion was seen for 3 months, easily visible for 3 months in broad daylight. From butter. Emerging out the other side, perhaps in China, The people there might be walking along, minding their own business, when our matter comes booming out of the ground and then falls back again. The incident might make an agreeable break in the routine of the day. And through the rotating Earth, and through the rotating Earth, and through the rotating Earth, that stopped the motion. That stopped the motion. That stopped the motion. The motion. A little bit like a Swiss cheese. That stopped the motion. In the air, little blobs of liquid tea are everywhere. Curious. If we now return the gravity to 1g, it's raining tea, and our friends fall back to Earth. I've been to a couple of parties like that myself. 2 or 3 Gs, say, things get really laid back. Everyone feels heavy and leaden. Except by special dispensation, the Cheshire Cat. As a kindness, we remove them. At thousands of Gs, trees become squashed. At 100,000 Gs, rocks become crushed by their own weight. At all these gravities, a beam of light remains unaffected, continuing up in a straight line. But at billions of Gs, even a beam of light feels the gravity and begins to bend back on itself. Curiouser and curiouser. Such a place, where the gravity is so large that even light can't get out, is called that stopped the motion pole, which light itself is imprisoned. This bright star has a massive pole, unseen companion. Satellite observatories find the companion to be an intense X-ray source. Perhaps the artist's signature. This X-ray source pole, called Cygnus X1. These X-rays are like the footprints of an invisible man walking in the snow. Pole. Drop it. Pole. A small mass, drop it on the surface, and watch how the surface distorts or puckers Pole. Into the third physical dimension. Gravity holds some when-else in time. In this view, space is filled with a network of wormholes, something like the wormholes in an apple, although by no means is this point demonstrated. It is merely an exciting suggestion. If it is true, then perhaps there exist gravity tunnels, a kind of interstellar or intergalactic subway, which would permit you to get from here to there in much less than the usual time, a kind of cosmic rapid transit system. More neutron stars, more black holes, a billion years in the future. Over billions of years, a billion years old. Disks of gas and dust, just like those needed to explain the origin of the...
Boom! So easy. Flat Earth.
And back to you, Pete.
Be sure to tune in next week for another exciting story from the files of...
The Earth is flat.
Hi, Ed.
Oh, hi, Frank.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Drebin here. Give me Pete Prusing.